Every year, Apple ousts a new smartphone that is named exactly like its predecessor but with the word S suffixed to it. And today, in one of the most awkward launch events ever, OnePlus announced a new phone that is named exactly like its predecessor, but there's a change. The letter T is suffixed to it. You know, because T comes after S. But the thing is, with S variants of the iPhones, they have always been revolutionary. May it be the first phone with video recording, may it be the first phone with Siri, the first iPhone with a fingerprint scanner, the first iPhone with 3D touch. In this case, however, the OnePlus 3T is just a mild upgrade over its predecessor. And that too with a price increase that does not feel very mild on the pockets. If you don't know me yet, my name is Sid, and in this video we talk all about the OnePlus 3T. Now there's a reason I mentioned the iPhones in the introduction, and the reason being, just like the S variants of the iPhones, this phone too looks exactly like its predecessor. It has the same metal design, it has the same shape, and all other components remain the same. Actually, not all other components. The phone now packs a new gunmetal color, and if this new color is anything like the shade HTC used to use in its old phones, I'm gonna like it. Also same is the display, which means it's still full HD in resolution. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a quad HD junkie. Full HD works fine for me. But since this was the most expensive OnePlus smartphone yet, I believe the resolution could have been kicked up this time. Also, the latest Android Nougat and the processor inside this phone facilitate virtual reality and support Daydream. And QHD screen would have enhanced the whole user experience in my opinion. Coming to performance, there is a slight change here. Instead of a Snapdragon 820 processor on the OnePlus 3, the OnePlus 3T uses a Snapdragon 821 processor on board. And while it does have some advantages including power efficiency, there is not much of a change here. In fact, the GPU too remains the same. And even though it has higher clock speeds, I'm afraid in real life there shouldn't be much of a difference in terms of real world performance. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do watch my OnePlus 3 versus Google Pixel XL speed test on this channel. The RAM also remains the same, and what else remains unchanged is the software. The phone runs on Oxygen OS running on Android Marshmallow, not on the new Android Nougat. And while OnePlus has promised a quick update to Android Nougat later this year, the bottom line is that in terms of performance, there is nothing new. And this is the section where changes begin to emerge. I'm talking about the cameras. The rear camera is pretty much the same as it was on the OnePlus 3. You get a 16 megapixel camera. However, the stabilization has now been improved. But in my opinion, I don't think it can still kill flagships like the Samsung Galaxy S7 or the Apple iPhone 7, both of which have larger apertures than this phone. And let's not even pit it against the Google Pixel. Talking about the front camera, however, it has twice the amount of megapixel count as the OnePlus 3 and thrice the amount of megapixel count as Galaxy S7's front camera. It is at whopping 16 megapixels with a sensor from Samsung and face detection autofocus, a thing that I believe is rare in selfie cameras. And one major issue that I had with the OnePlus 3 was its mediocre battery life, which OnePlus 3T attempts to solve by giving you 400 mAh more of it, and the already fast dash charging is already available on board. But the increase in the battery size did not increase the size of the phone. What instead has increased is the size of the storage, surprisingly. The phone now comes in a 120GB variant as well if you buy the gunmetal color. And that sums up all you need to know about the OnePlus 3T, and now it's time for me to give you my opinions on the device. I actually don't know what to say. There is a part of me that actually likes this phone for it fixes some issues that the OnePlus 3 had, namely the battery and the camera. Now, cameras on OnePlus 3 were not necessarily bad, but with this new upgrade, the OnePlus 3T might just be one of the best selfie shooters out there in the town, at least on paper. But the thing is, these issues, these changes are incremental, they are not monumental in nature. And what I've noticed, by the way, is year after year, OnePlus's pricing is going up. OnePlus 1 came to India at a price tag of 90,000 rupees. OnePlus 2 at a price tag of 23,000 rupees. OnePlus 3 was 28, and this one crosses the 30k mark. The phone would be available in the United States of America starting 22nd of November at a starting price of $439. After that, on 28th of November, there would be a global launch. But as of now, for India, there is no official pricing or availability word out yet. We would keep you posted. Stay tuned to our channel. But what I believe is, if you were launching a semi-improved smartphone, the pricing should have been the same as the predecessor. And OnePlus 3 should have either been made cheaper or discontinued. I mean, that's how Apple does it. Overall, it's not a bad phone per se. But all I'm saying is, it was unnecessary. OnePlus 3 came out just 5 months ago, And for people who bought that phone in the last 3 months, this one is slightly unfair to them. And in my opinion, what they should have done is they should have waited for Galaxy S8 to come out, and alongside that they could have had an early launch of OnePlus 4 with more features, new design, and maybe even waterproofness. But barring this personal preference I have, OnePlus 3T will still be one of the best flagship killers in town, and now with certain improvements that are going to make it even better than its predecessor. It's a phone that could have been the OnePlus 4. It's a phone that should have been the OnePlus 3. But for here and now, this phone is called the OnePlus 3T. And that's what I think of this new smartphone. But what is more important to me is to know what you think of this. So post your comments in the comment box below after you have liked and more importantly shared this video with your friends. Till then, stay subscribed to 91 Mobiles. My name is Sid. Keep seeing me. Ciao.